Hello everyone, this is Phantom Duels here, and today I'm going to be doing What If Ikki Kurogane was betrayed? No, was framed, I'm sorry. And yes, if you're wondering why I'm starting this series, it's because I was watching the anime Chivalry of the Failed Knight, and I seen how the character Ikki Kurogane was treated as a bottomless guy and then became the number one. It's an interesting series, and I even seen videos of people making what if Deku was Ikki Kurogane, and I was wondering, and I was searching to see if people made frame or betrayed about this, but they didn't. So I decided to create my own version. So this is a project test. It's gonna be like a test to see if people will like this. So yeah, I'm gonna start like in the middle of the TV show, the anime I mean. So I'm gonna start off. Let me see. Where should I start off? I'm gonna start off where Ikki and Stella. No, Ikki's sister Shizuku and Stella were fighting over Ikki. As a few hours passed, when Stella and Shizuku were finishing cleaning the girls' bathroom, as Shizuku went to her dorm and got a phone call from her parents, aka Ikki's parents, who don't love him. As she answered the call and said, and got her parents saying that we're planning to frame your brother, and from inventing him, from even competing, and from interfering in his competition to join the competition. And yes, in this series, Shizuku doesn't like Ikki that much. Okay, so that's all I really wanted to explain. As Shizuku smiled at this, she agreed with the plan, as she went online and found a video of a person killing a girl as the police and came and saved the other two girls. As she went to a photo shooter and told them to edit the picture and make it look like this guy, aka Ikki, was the one that killed these two girls. As the photo shooter was confused about this, but he just agreed because he was getting a good amount of money for doing this job. As a few hours passed from when Shizuku went to the photo shooter, as the photo shooter was done taking the picture. As she was walking towards the principal's office, she knocked on the door. As the principal let her in, the principal asked, "What do you need, Shizuku?" As Shizuku showed her the photo of Ikki. Show her the video of Ikki killing the girl, and the police saving her. As the principal threw this video international, as everyone in the world saw this, as the Kurogane family saw this and were smiling at this. Everyone in the school were giving glares to Ikki. Stella was confused about this, as one of the school students went up to Stella and told her everything that they saw on the TV. As Stella didn't believe this, and Stella just told them to stop lying about what Ikki didn't do, as everyone were giving her glares too. As suddenly one day, while Ikki and Stella were doing their regular routine, police surrounded them and told her, "Princess Stella, stay away from that villain." As Stella said, "What do you mean, villain?" As the principal comes out and says, "He killed a girl 2 days ago." And as Stella said, "No, he didn't. he was with me. He was with me at the mall. He was with me at the mall with Shizuku and her sister. With Shizuku and her roommate as the principal, as Shizuku came in and said, but he suddenly went missing for 4 to 6 hours. Remember, as Stella remembered that and started to have thoughts about this and said, but still, he could have been doing something else. As the police got closer to try to grab the princess, as suddenly Stella felt a punch. Stella felt a push. As Stella looked behind her and saw Ikki smiling at her and said to her, "Don't worry, I'll be alright." As Ikki pushed Stella towards the police and put his hands up and said, "I'll be going with you, police." And put his hands up as the police said, "Kneel down," as I was about to say Zuku. God, I'm so used to saying Zuku. As Ikki kneeled down and put his head on the ground, as the police went towards him, handcuffed him, and said, "You are coming with us, Ikki." As we skip a few hours, Ikki was in the prison. As one of the police came and said, "Prisoner Ikki, you got a call from your father." As Ikki was confused about this and picked up the phone and said, "Hello there." As Ikki listened to his father and heard that his father, as Ikki's father said, "Ikki, or should I say villain, I will be disowning you from my family." As Ikki was shocked about this, and he wasn't shocked about this until he said, "I knew it sooner or later you were gonna disown me." As Ikki's father was shocked and said, "How did you know we were gonna disown you?" "Because ever since I was a little kid, you didn't care about me." And yes, Ikki's family has 2 times the more neglection they do to Ikki than the anime. As Ikki's father started to laugh and said, "Ha! Enjoy your time in prison, you worthless one." As Ikki's father hanged up. As we come back to Ikki a few weeks later, Ikki was begging the prison guard to let him go. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything to those girls. Check the video again. How could it be me? As the guards had enough of this. It has been, let's say, a freaking month. It has been 1 freaking month that we've been hearing you say, "I didn't do this, I didn't do that." As the guards opened the jail cell and grabbed Ikki, tied him up to a chair, and started beating him up. It's gonna be the same as my Betray one, but he's not the reincarnation of Ken Kaneki. Trust me, he's not. If you can see who's on the screen, you'll understand who he's gonna be. As they started beating him up, they first used their stick, hit him with it. They kept hitting him. As this went going for, I don't want to be that mean, but I have to. Every anime character has to have a sad story. As a sad backstory. As this went on for 3 weeks. At the end of the 3rd week, Ikki's body was damaged. His right leg was broken. His left arm fingers were cracked. His face was swallowed. His nose was bleeding. His shoulder was hurting. And everything except those things were fine. As the prisoners who were nice to Ikki saw Ikki on the ground and went to check and went to call the hospital. As the hospital came to pick up Ikki, as the guards who were nice to Ikki went and checked the camera and saw that those two guards were beating him up 3 weeks in a row. As those guards got mad and went and told their boss, as their boss called those guards and told them, "You are fired." As the guards were like, "Why? They are worthless. They are worthless piece of trash. They are villains," as they say. But that one of them was a kid who was just telling you, who was just telling you, trying to tell you that he didn't do anything. As those guards understood and just gave the boss their badges and went off. As if you guys hear that, I'm sorry. As we come back to Ikki in the hospital. Ikki was going through some healing. Since this world has magic, there's magic healing too, so I'm gonna say that. As Ikki was getting healed by the hospital, as the hospital saw Ikki and decided to do some research on him, as they saw that Ikki was an F rank blazer in a school. I don't really know the name of the school, so I'm sorry if you guys are gonna bother me about the school name. You can. I understand. As we come to Ikki's mindscape, Ikki was walking around in his head, looking. As Ikki found to his view, as he saw that he was in the hospital, as Ikki just sat down in the ground and said, "Well, I think this is the end for me." As someone came and started to laugh, and was laughing as Ikki saw an adult version of Rin Akuma. And yes, I am doing the adult version of Rin Akuma because I do not want him to be the same age as Ikki. And yes, he'll still look the same, just that his hair will be more darker, his eyes will go blue as you see in the screen, and he'll technically look like Rin Akuma, but he'll still be the same height. As Ikki looked and saw a tall man with blue flames covering him. As Ikki asked, "Who are you?" As Rin said, "I am Rin Akuma, the son of Satan." As Ikki was shocked. And yes, I am making this be like that. The son of Satan and blue actresses were an old thing back in the days when there used to be like when there used to be no blazers like that. As Ikki said, "But aren't you supposed to be a myth?" As Rin started to laugh and said, "I am a myth. It's just that I die and got reincarnated into you." As Ikki started to understand why he was here, as Ikki asked, "So, what are you planning to do with me?" As Rin smiled at him and said, "I am here to train you." As Ikki said, "Train me for what?" "To use my powers." As Rin took out his sword, which I forgot the name of, but it's the same sword the same sword you see on the screen. No, I remember it now. Kirigara. If I'm saying it wrong, you guys can tell me in the comments. I'm fine. Kirigara. As he took it out of his sheath and threw it at Ikki. As Ikki held the blade and saw that it was shining in blue flames. As Rin summoned another sword and said, "We're gonna be practicing to use my flames and learn how to control them." As Ikki said, "Yes, sir." As Rin smiled at this and said, "You got some guts, kid." And yes, he's gonna be calling him kid because Rin is way older than Ikki in this one. As Ikki and Rin started to train on swordsmanship. I know Ikki has his own fighting style, but he's gonna keep the same fighting style, but he's gonna have another one in case. As Ikki gain a good mastery over swordsmanship and gain a good mastery over using the blue flames on his sword. As we do a 500-year time skip, which means in his mindscape 500 years and the outside world 6 years. As we skip 400, Ikki gain a good mastery over his full body blue flame. As the way you see it on the stream right now, that's how Ikki look. Ikki's blue flames are like, his mastery is like able to let him engulf with himself in blue flames, but instead of being like blue fire all over him, it's like the one you see on the screen. He has blue flames all over his hair and his clothes, but that's it. As Rin was very happy that this kid was able to master that. As Rin started to teach him how to throw slashes of blue fire towards people. As they were doing a good mastery over his power. As we skip to 400 years. 400 years. Ikki's body in the outside world was changing. It was the same as it was starting to change up to a bit lighter skin. His eyes went from a dark to a light blue. His hair went darker, and his body was growing a bit more stronger and was getting a bit more taller. As in the outside world, it was 5 years, but in Ikki's mind, it was 400. Maybe I want to make it like 600 years, but it's 400. As we go back to the school, we're gonna go back a year before a year. The principal was having thoughts about if Ikki was the actual traitor, was the actual person who killed those people. As she made some phone calls and called the 2 people that were saved from that villain attack. This is not My Hero Academia, so if I'm saying villain, it's because those are villains. As they came towards the principal, as the principal had some questions and asked her. As she said, "I have a question. How was the person that killed your friend looked like?" As they all started to explain to her that he was a very tall, muscular, yellow hair person. As the principal started to have second thoughts about what she said. And said, "So Ikki Kurogane wasn't the traitor." As the principal decided to call as the principal was starting to think about it and said, this might have been the Kurogane family framing Ikki. As she read Ikki's files, and it said that his family tried maybe 2 to 1 years. I don't really remember. It was 1 year that this. It was the first year of school that Ikki couldn't go in, and the last principal was getting threatened by the Kurogane family. As okay, as the principal called Shizuku and said, as Shizuku came in and started to, sorry guys, as Shizuku came in and said, what do you need, principal? As the principal looked at Shizuku with an angry look and told her, what? And told her, you've decided to frame your own brother. And Shizuku told her everything, that she hated Ikki, she never liked him, that he is so dumb, he is useless, all that stuff. As the principal was getting pissed at this and told her to go back to class, that she would be expelled from school for 1 week. As Shizuku said, you don't have no right to do that. As Shizuku said, I am the principal of the school. Your parents don't command me here. As Shizuku went out of the school angry. As the principal decided to hold an international meetings, as a lot of people came in, as they were asking questions. Why did she hold this meeting? Why was this for? As the principal started to explain that the Kurogane family was the one that framed Ikki Kurogane. As the Kurogane family started to lose a lot of money because of this news from a school who is well known. As we come back to Ikki, Ikki was starting to wake up. As Rin said, well, this is where we end our training. As Ikki said, why? Because you fully now look like me when I was in my younger years. As Ikki looked at himself and saw that he looked like the person standing in front of him. As Rin told him to shake his hand, and Ikki and Rin shook hands and started to hug Rin as Ikki was getting mad. As Rin said, it's okay, kid, I'll be here with you. As Rin fused with Ikki, as Ikki said, well, I guess it's time to go back. As we come back to the principal, suddenly out of nowhere, the principal got a call from the prison that Ikki was staying in. As the prison hospital explained everything to the principal. As the principal was shocked that two guards of a high recommending prison would do this to a kid. As the hospital told her that he has been asleep for nearly 5 years and a half. As 5 years and a half. As the principal started to have second thoughts of of what's going to happen to him. As Ikki said, I am going to be training on my blade steel for 1 more year. As the principal came to see, she visited every month until 1 more year passed. It has been 6 years, aka 500. As Ikki said, it's time to leave. And yes, let me explain to you that since Ikki mastered his blade seal, now he can make his flames when he uses it. He can make his flames color purple, and that gives his, when he steals another person's fighting style with swords, he can technically make his flames purple and give him a much better boost. So that means he has a better speed, better strength, and better fire slashes. As yes, he has a tail. I'm fully making him look like Rina Kumara. He has a tail, but he has to hide it. The only time he fully has the tail out is when he engulfs himself with fire. His tail, not like you see in the screen, like fully on fire. His tail and his ears will grow. As Ikki was starting to wake up, he woke up and saw a bright shining light on his eyes and said, "Ah!" As Ikki looked around and saw the principal there, as he waved at her, as the principal started to walk towards him, as she said, "Well, how was your 6 years sleep, young man?" As Ikki told her in a funny tone, "It was good." As the principal gave him a look saying, "You serious? You serious with me right now?" As Ikki looked at her with a look saying the same thing. As the principal told him, "Ikki Kurogane, you'll be coming back to school with me." As Ikki said, wasn't I the villain who killed that girl?" As she told her, as she told them that he was framed by your own family. As Ikki gave her a look. How couldn't I know? As she understood the look and said, well, so when are we leaving?" As the principal said, "We can leave right now, or we can leave later." As the principal said to Ikki, as Ikki said, "I wanna leave right now." And yes, the same clothes you see on the screen right now will be the one that Ikki wears, because I technically wanted to give him that clothes. It looks much better than the white one he wears in the anime. But if you guys disagree with me, I'll change it on the next episode. As Ikki came out with that clothes, as the principal said, "So with this new look, did your sword change?" As he said, as he put his hand up and summoned in Tetsu, as he said, "It looks the same, but I had to do something." As Ikki found a rock, he grabbed the rock and smashed his sword. As the principal looked at him with a shocked look, as Ikki said, "Wait for it." As the sword started to reform, as it reformed into kurikara. As Ikki said, "My sword, kurikara." As the principal saw that the sword was changed inside and looked different, as Ikki said, "This is my new sword, kurikara." As the sword disappeared, as Ikki said, "Shall we go?" As we skipped a few hours, Ikki was reaching the school. As everyone saw the meeting of the principal telling them the truth, It went international, so everyone in the world knows what the Kurogane family did. As Ikki saw the news and said, you went a little bit overboard, principal." As the principal said, it isn't called overboard. It's called being a good person. As Ikki smiled at this, and she smiled back. As we skipped to when they got to the school, everyone in the school saw a tall, blue-eyed person with black hair as she was walking to the principal towards the dorms where Ikki Kurogane and Stella Vanilla stayed at, as everyone were shocked. Just by looking at where they were staying, they knew who it was. As everyone in school said Ikki Kurogane, as Ikki just looked at them and gave him a death glare as his blue eyes just went on fire. As everyone said, "The worst one has magic?" As the principal saw this and said, "So you have magic now?" As Ikki told her, "Just wait until you give me the evaluation test. Evaluate that." I'm sorry, guys. So if you guys are gonna, my English is wrong, you guys can burn me in the chat if you want. Because I understand why you guys will be doing that. As he said, "You'll see when you do me the test again." Because after all, this is my 3rd year, isn't it right? As Ikki smiled at her, as she smiled back at Ikki and said, "Yes, it is your 3rd year." As Ikki reached his dorm, as he opened the door, the same thing that happened in the beginning happened again, just with a new version of Ikki. So imagine the same thing that happened in the beginning of the anime. As Ikki didn't take his clothes off, just closed his eye and said, "I'm going to die." As Ikki ran towards the principal's office and came in there and said, "The same things are gonna happen with me and Stella again," as she said, and she gave him a smile and said, "I know." As she grinned at him, as he said, "You planned this, didn't you?" As she said, "Maybe I did, maybe I did not." As Stella came in saying, "You pervert." As when Stella looked correctly, she saw that this man was the same height as Ikki and kind of looked like him. As she said, "By any chance, are you Ikki Kurogane?" As he smiled at this and said, "What would happen if I told you I am?" As she went in and gave him a hug. "Nothing. I just wanted a hug. I just wanted to see if you were okay." As Ikki just hugged her back and said, "I am fine. I just went through a few changes," as she said. "No, a lot of changes." As Ikki laughed at this and said, "Well, shall we go back to our dorms?" As Stella nodded at this and went back to the dorms. As we skip a few hours later, the same thing happens. Stella, a few hours later, Ikki. Remember, Ikki. As Ikki and Stella went to the mall to Japan. I think it was to Japan. Not Japan, to the mall in Japan. Since they were already in Japan, I wouldn't say like that, to the mall. As Stella said the same thing she said in the anime. "Oh, so this is how the mall looked in Japan." As Ikki said, "Yeah, it is. As the same thing happened, Ikki went to the bathroom. Stella got captured by villains and was about to get raped until Ikki had enough, and activated his blue flames, and his teeth grew sharper. The same style that you see on the screen right now, that's how it looked. And summoned Kirikara, and sent 2 flame slashes at the villains, as it was burning them to death because Izuku chose to burn them. As the last one, Ikki just uses his regular sword and put flames all over the sword and cut through the person's arms. As before, as the same thing happened. A girl was about to shoot this girl, Shizuko, I think, or a girl, as Ikki's worst enemy from the anime came and helped her. As everyone, and yes, the competition was still going on, but Ikki's fight was the one after. As Ikki saw who it was and said "you" in an anger tone, as he deactivated the flame before Stella could see it or him. As he desummoned his sword, as the guy that I forgot his name said, "Oh, but if it isn't the worst one," as Ikki stayed quiet. As Stella went towards the guy and told him, "Ikki is 100 times much better than you in a fight." As he went towards Ikki and said, "Now you got this girl wrapped all over your tail. What are you gonna do about it, worst one?" As he said, "Are you gonna tell them the truth?" As Ikki wasn't scared this time. As we skipped to where the fight between Ikki and the other guy. As Ikki decided to use Blade Steel, which has 2 versions. Ikki has Perfect Vision. You can buy a Blade Steel and Perfect Vision. As Ikki used Perfect Vision and Blade Steel in the same time, as he activated purple flames. As everyone saw that and said,
Fred, you didn't eat your cupcake.
"Okay." Sorry guys, I had to help my mother with something and I had to finish eating something too. So, like I said, Ikki used his Perfect Vision and Blade Steel at the same time and engulf his sword with purple flames. As when the guy was about to use his bow and shot an arrow towards Ikki, Ikki just disappeared and purple flames and reappear in front of the guy holding a sword. Disappear in purple flame. Annihilate that. Forget about that. As he disappeared in purple flames and reappeared running towards the guy at maximum speed, as everybody saw that he was leaving a track of blue flames. As when he jumped, the purple flames on his sword were coming towards the guy, as the guy was saying, "Listen, we can be friends. Listen, we can be friends. No, don't kill me. We can be friends." As Ikki as Ikki went down with maximum blast, holding blue flames down his sword as he turned the sword to blue flames and towards the blue flames towards the guy's head as he missed on purpose. At the same time, the anime just missing on purpose as everyone said. As everyone was shocked to see the worst one actually had a magic. As everyone were shocked to see that the worst one, a rank F, had magic. His element was red. His element, let's just call it cremation. I am just gonna call it cremation because I don't want him to tell them yet that is actually flames of hell that was back from the old days when there used to be actresses, which there still are, as the person still called them another one. As Ikki just smiled at them and yelled out, "The worst one is not named another one. I am Ikki Akumura, aka Rin Akumura, Satan." As everyone heard him say Satan and started to say, his frames do kind of look like Satan as they say, Rin Akumura, aka Satan. As everyone cheered when they heard. If you guys heard that, I'm sorry. As Ikki was now getting famous through everything, as the #1 people on the ranks were starting to hear of a guy named Rin Akumura going through the ranks. As this is where I'm gonna leave it off. I'm gonna leave it off here. So yeah, this is gonna be, I'm just gonna call it What If Ikki Kurogane Was Beframed Part 1. If you guys want me to do Part 2, with pleasure I'll do it. I really like this series. Later today I'm gonna be doing What If Belle Was Betrayed. I really wanted to try that, so I'm gonna be doing it. So bye. Have a good night or have a good day wherever you guys live, and goodbye.